Hi guys, Simon here from Attacking 8 Ball. In this series, we're going all around the country, ranking pub pool tables based on these criteria. Today, we're at the Arrow in Eastleigh. Let's go check it out. Hi guys, and welcome to Simon's Corner. The purpose of this space is to explain to you, the viewer, the best types of equipment that you can have when you're playing in a pub, and also just generally give advice to pubs on how they can improve on their tables. The purpose of the series is not to discredit any pubs or put any pubs down or look for any easy targets. It's more just to let you guys know where the best places are to play, and also to the pubs out there, what equipment you can supply at a base level to satisfy the needs of anyone who plays above a beginner level. As you'll know by now, the first item is always going to be the price of the table. What's important to most pool players who play above a beginner level is that the equipment that they're being supplied and the table that they're playing on is worth the money that's being asked by the pub. Let's get back to the Arrow. Price of a game in the Arrow is £1, which is the average price, I would say. Let's get it. All right, so again, as mentioned, the average price is £1 for a game. It scores a 7 out of 10. So the criteria for the balls, whether they're clean, damaged, and just general overall condition. There are ball cleaners out there which are a budget price, so if you're a pub who's looking for ways to keep the balls clean, then I would recommend using a ball cleaner around once to twice a week. Apart from complaints from the missus, the benefit of having clean balls is that you get a clean contact from the cue ball and the ball rolls true. It also reduces kicks and means that you get a clean contact from the cue ball. Let's take a look at this example from the Arrow. So with the balls at the Arrow, standard balls you get are these Arrow Myths. Cheap set, pretty worn out, pretty damaged, dirty, so not great condition. For that reason, they score a 5. However, if you put a £10 deposit behind the bar, you can get yourself a set of Pro Cups which have been cleaned in their very own ball cleaner. You get your £10 back and you get to be playing with the best set. Let's check them out. So remember, if you want to score a 10, you better keep your balls clean. As you can see, a big difference here in the cleanliness of these two types of balls. If you're a pub that's supplying these balls and they're clean, you're going to be scoring a 10 out of 10. But with these balls, not clean, poor quality ball, a little bit damaged, it's going to score around a 5 out of 10. So in terms of the triangles, we've compared a few and we've spoken about my favourite, which is the Smart Rack. The reason why I like this is it keeps the balls tight together and it's easy to move and not disturb the pack. However, if you're a pub who doesn't want to invest in a Smart Rack, bear in mind these cost around about £35, then the bare minimum I'd recommend is a Supreme triangle. Try and ditch that tight plastic triangle that causes all the balls to stay together and get yourself a looser triangle like the Supreme. These are going to be fairly inexpensive, but they are going to make a huge difference to anyone's game who's playing. So as standard, the Arrow supplies Supreme triangles. This is probably the best type of plastic triangle you can get. For that reason, it's going to score a 9 out of 10. However, for a 10 out of 10, you've got to be supplying a Smart Rack. Now, we've just spoken about the best triangle for a good break, but most people don't know the importance of a good break cue for the best break. The cue that I use to break is the Synergy 1 Shane Van Boning cue by Q Tech. So I recently invested in this and I've noticed my break has been significantly different, a lot less effort when it comes to splitting up the pack, and in general I'm able to control the cue ball a lot more. If you're interested in getting this cue, check out the link in my bio. I get a 10% discount for any of my followers from Q Pros, who are the company which supply the cue. After you've hit the break and then you've got the best split as possible, next you've got to try and clear the table. Now the cue that I recommend, which is at entry level for anyone who's kind of a beginner intermediate player, is the Master Cue by Ultimate Pool. Obviously if you're a pub who's trying to figure out which cue to supply, then the most important things are that the tip is in good condition, the cue is straight, and it's not chipped or damaged. For me personally, having done 4 reviews so far and seen the condition of standard pub cues, the cue is the most important factor when it comes to standard of play. If you're not sure which budget cue to supply for your pub, then be sure to write in the comments. I'll be happy to send over some recommendations. But for now, let's go check out the cues at the Arrow. Hi there, Simon here, reviewing cues in the Arrow. So, you've got 3 different types here. 3 adult size ones, all different shades, all different colours, and 1 kid size cue. These are very standard pub cues. The thing about these, they're quite sticky, so I don't really like that. Nobody likes a sticky shaft. But yeah, if we review the best one, which is probably this one, we're going to give it a 6 out of 10. So the chalk that's supplied at the Arrow is triangle chalk, which isn't bad. It scores an 8 out of 10. But if you want the best, get yourself some Town. Right, so moving on to the cloth on the table. Now the refit on cloths tend to vary depending on which pub you go to, and the type of cloth tends to be different in most venues. But for now, let's go check out the cloth at the Arrow. So the cloth at the Arrow is a grey speed cloth, plays really, really well. It's super fast and there's no damage to it. It's in fact one of the best pub pool table cloths I've ever seen. It's not perfect for that reason. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. So moving on to the space around the edge of the table. Obviously this is a massive factor for being able to play the game in general. As you've seen on previous episodes, some places do have situations where their table is too close to a wall and you have to lift the end of the queue up, which is something that anyone who is above a beginner will find infuriating. So what I recommend any pubs who are in this situation doing is buying a queue which is slightly shorter just to be able to accommodate for this. So now we've spoken about the space around the table, Joe, cue the music. The queue does get slightly close to the wall over there, but as long as you've got a standard size queue, you're not going to hit it. And for that reason, it scores a 10 out of 10. So now we're going to be looking at the roll on the table. So when it comes to leveling the table and making sure the balls roll straight, it's something that doesn't cost anything. It just takes a little bit of time to do. So what you'll find on pretty much any pub table is that you have feet underneath that you can turn the circle to raise up one side. It's best to learn how to do this from YouTube instructional videos that you can find if you search. That is the least you can do for someone who's coming in to play a game who is slightly above beginner level. Speaking of roll on the table, let's go back to the Arrow and check it out. So there is definitely a slight roll into this one corner. The other side of the table is absolutely perfect. Very similar story to the style that we reviewed recently. Overall, the roll on the table is perfect, but just one corner it's starting to roll out. The landlord did mention that they sometimes move the table when they get a band in, so that might be the reason why it's just not very level today. Yeah, overall, we're going to give it a 7 out of 10 for the roll on the table. So as always, the ultimate test, can I get a break dish? Let's see it. Terrible. So here's the scores for the Arrow. Overall, a really great venue with 2 supreme winners with grey speed cloth that plays really well. The highlights include the ability to put a deposit behind the bar to get yourself a really nice set of Aramith Pro Cups. As far as how the tables play, they're one of the best we've seen so far. Downsides, the queues that you get supplied with aren't great, so I would definitely recommend bringing your own. But overall, the Arrow is a really great venue here in Eastleigh, and I definitely recommend checking it out. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. We've got a lot more on the way. Be sure to let me know in the comments what you would rate this venue, and tell me where you want me to review next. And who knows, you might see me at your local pool establishment. If you want to pick up any of the products that were mentioned in this video with a bit of a discount and become a more attacking and well-rounded player, then click the first link in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.